following story from actually, CNN, whatever. It's a true story. You may think what I'm about to read you should belong maybe in a country like Greece that's experiencing default. Maybe a third world country. Not not America. But as I've warned for a long time, as other people have been warning for a long time, along with the reason, why you need to be stocking up on silver and this, go on and on about those things. But long story short, let me go ahead and read this to you. I don't know if you could hear that, but that's some major peacocks screaming in the neighborhood. Why they're in a normal neighborhood, don't ask me. I don't know. Rhode Island City asks retirees to cut their pensions. And let me stop before I even start. If you think for 1 second it just might be Rhode Island or maybe a couple, 2 or 3 other cities that experience this, you're a bozo, you don't know anything, and you're listening to the mainstream media way too long, which is shocking that it's even on CNN, this story. But again, months ago, when I remember, is every state in the country, every city within those states, not every city, but basically each state, and their, whether it be state and local governments or that combined, if you add all of that into the United States, but just the cities mainly that have these pensions for each state, each city, whatever. Last I heard, it was 1.25 trillion in the red. So again, if you think this story I'm about to read you is only for Rhode Island or maybe a couple, 2 or 3 other cities, areas in the country, you're smoking crack. It's fixing to spread like wildfire sooner or later. Obviously now, sooner than later. So it says, as cities across the United States struggle to keep their finances afloat, Central Falls, Rhode Island is taking a novel approach to try to avoid bankruptcy. The city is asking police and firefighter retirees to give up 50% of their pension. On Tuesday, a state-appointed receiver, Judge Robert Flanders, met with constituents to discuss options that would prevent the city from filing for bankruptcy, but the choices seemed limited. Either volunteer for the pension cut, 50%, or risk losing all of it, which they can do by what would amount to a default, aka then bankruptcy, or the same thing. So let's just scroll down and read a little more of this. The city has a $5 million per year structural deficit. Going forward, it's now at a point where a city is about to run out of cash. Central Falls, a city of 19,000 residents living in roughly a square mile, has historically had difficulty reducing its expenses because of a decline in population and the resulting smaller tax revenues. Each of the 141 city retirees will receive a voting ballot in a packet by the end of the week showing how much of their pensions will be slashed if they agree to volunteer for the benefits cut. With August set as the deadline for further decisions on the financial future of the city, Flanders hopes to find out residents' decisions by the end of the month. It was a very difficult meeting. There was a lot of concern and anger, said trainer of Tuesday's event. Flanders hopes in the case of retirees that they would agree. Better to accept his proposal than taking a chance with the bankruptcy court, he added. And there's a little more. I skipped a little bit. But that's all I need to tell you. That's the only important part. So here are these people. Remember that story I read you that was written by the late and great Martin Armstrong, about the Roman Empire collapse, and one of the main causes, if not the main cause, period, of the Roman Empire collapse was unfunded government liabilities. Promises that were made, regardless as if they could fund them. We're just going to promise the troops and the special military branch and the Secret Service, or it was a special name they had back then for those guys. Forget the name of it, but I did tell you what it was in the article that I read in my video. It just bonus, big retirement, big pension. Although they didn't call it a pension then, it's the same thing. And even then, it was unfunded. It was just a promise. Yeah, you'll get it when you retire. And then when everyone went to retire, it's too late. They were already at war, already expanding, trying to pay for some of the earlier retirements. Right? We talk about the baby boomers. Oh, the baby boomers are going to really hit the big climax of baby boomer retirement and around the year 2020 or something like that, I think. I forgot the exact year. But we've already experienced baby boomers by the millions, I guess, retiring since, I want to say, 2008 or so, when it really it was more than just normal kind of thing. In 2009, there's more. 2010, there was more. 2011, there's more, etc. And they just keep piling on. So, and that's just Social Security for the most part. So now you got all these guys. I was a soldier, or I was a fire chief or fireman for 20 years. I was a police officer, prestigious, record, phenomenal. And maybe they're true. Maybe they were that guy. Officer friendly, just the greatest cop ever, retired. Man, does he deserve his pension. You know, this guy never roughed anybody up, wronged anybody. Ah, great. But, oh, you live over there? Yeah, listen. We're going to have to cut that down to 50%, or you risk not getting any of it. What do you mean not getting any of it? You're telling me my two options are take a complete 50% haircut, which I can't do. That's going to destroy me. Because I have a lifestyle now. I have a house. I have payments. I have all these things. I built up this lifestyle. You promised me. You guaranteed me. It was in a contract that I'd get that pension money. And now I'm living my life off that pension, or about to, which will continue my bills, helping me pay my bills. And now you're telling me half of it's going to get cut. Therefore, half of the pension amount I'd be getting monthly or weekly or bi-weekly or however fast they send them out is half. Well, I can't do that. I have a house now. I have a car now, as I explained. Well, you're going to get mad, aren't you? It was in a contract. It was a written agreement. Sure it was. And guess what else was in that written agreement? Matter of fact, there really didn't have to be anything else in a written agreement, to tell you the truth, because there's a such thing as bankruptcy. But a city can't. It's part of the federal government. It can't file bankruptcy, right? Well, it's not necessarily part of the federal government. It's part of the state government or the local government, county or whatever. So that is within the state, not necessarily federal. So we're sorry about your luck. You're screwed anyways. And by the way, don't feel too bad, because if you were a federal worker, the federal government can also file bankruptcy if they have the same problem. So all these, again, unfunded liabilities from the Roman Empire, which have now carried over to the new age of the Roman Empire, America, can't be funded. There's a 1.25 trillion deficit in the pension system for those types of people, whether it be school teacher, but mostly firefighter, police, that kind of thing. And they're going to get screwed. And the only part that I can say I love it is because I saw a video a little while back. It was in around Newport Richey, Florida, or Pasco County, not too far from where I am. And I saw a couple of young men and maybe an older guy there. This was a few years ago. The video was. I just happened to see it not that long ago. And George Bush Jr., ex-president, was in town, had a little rally, fundraiser for something. And they went in there and they were yelling, 9/11 was an inside job, and, bring the criminals to justice. Not even a warning, not even you need to leave. The police just grabbed them, roughed them out, pushed them forcefully. And the guys are like, as the policemen, pushed them off the property. This is a private, he said, yeah, this is a public event. That's what the cops told him. This is a public event, but it is private property that owns this, space, even though the public's welcome in here. And the owners have already said if anybody interrupts or do anything like that, they already have our permission to police to take the person out. So we're here for security, and we're going to follow what the owner said. It's not that we're invading your free speech or whatever. I don't know if he got into too much detail. And the guy said, look, the guys that were protesting, we're here for you guys too, I hope you know. They're going to come after your pension, and we're here to help expose some of this stuff, and you guys are kicking us out. And the cops just kind of like, turned around and left, walked away. If they're off the property, our job's done. Kind of just, you know, stupid kids or whatever. So when I say, oh, I love hearing this, it's not for the average firefighter, average cop that needs it. It's for the cops like that. Kind of like the same cops in Greece who protected the Bilderberg people at that meeting a couple years ago, and the people were coming in trying to get into that place, and they were following them around, arresting them, detaining them, putting them inside of a jail cell for hours, releasing them, no charges filed, all charges dropped, just to bother them, just to get them, just to basically send the message to these people, leave these people in Bilderberg meeting alone. And by the way, police of Greece, how's that working out for you? Because while you were pushing these people away who are, again, fighting for you, you stupid idiots, you tried to arrest them and then drop charges and let them go to give these people their secret meeting peace and quiet, when in fact they're inside deciding on your fate, the fate of your pension, the fate of your retirement, and your country, and all the assets in your country, which is why they're trying to privatize everything right now and sell it off, once, you know, to the highest bidder, privatization sales. So pay Pasco County deputies that shoved these people off who were trying to protest Bush and the bankers, and you kind of smirked off and laughed after you pushed them off. You think your pension's safe now? Oh, that's not us, you know, not us. Yeah, we have to contribute to our pension now, thanks to the governor putting that law in place in Florida. So I know you're already upset about that. Hey, these guys tried to warn you. They were there for you too, but you pushed them off. And I've got news for you. You're probably going to hear about something like this. City property prices have crashed even worse over the next year or two, right? Wow, we had this big dollar problem and debt problem. Prices go down. Interest rates will probably eventually go up, which will drive property prices down even further, which drives the income to the state and local governments down severely due to the property taxes decreasing, etc., etc., etc. And therefore, you're going to be hearing a story like this. You know, Pasco County, Florida. County is having a meeting with retirees and police officers and firemen because they're going to have to either take a 50% pension cut or risk losing it all if the city, or in this case the county, files bankruptcy. Now, here's another thing. The other day I did a video about what's the difference between government raising fees, you know, taxes or driver's license fees. You can't go somewhere else and say, well, screw you, I'll go to another company and get this done. You can't go to another company. It's the government. If you want a license, sorry about your luck, you're going to have to pay the fee. If it was McDonald's or some other company, I don't like the price you're charging. I'm going to Burger King. I'm going to Taco Bell. I'm going somewhere else to eat, get a better price. That's the nice thing about, you know, free markets, and especially in business-wise, free markets, if you will. You have that choice. But with government, you don't have a choice. So it's kind of like that, where they're going to be coming at them, 50% pension cut or bankruptcy. And isn't it interesting that part of my point is that they can file bankruptcy, and any money, if you're a contractor or a business owner and that same city owes you money during this bankruptcy thing for the pensions and stuff, they can bankrupt all the bills you've been sending them that they're behind on or whatever it is. Again, no matter what agreement you had, etc., 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 that doesn't matter. So all these people will lose out. There's nothing you can do about it. But let's just reverse that for 1 second. You know, bear with me. You own a house. You own it. I'm talking you somehow miraculously paid off all debt. You have no debt in your life whatsoever. Own everything. You still have property taxes you have to pay. And if you lose your job, unemployment runs out, you can't find another job, and you end up getting behind on your property taxes, and a certain level of time, amount of time goes by, where the county will then say, or city, depending on where you live, city or county says, you're, 3 years behind, let's say, in property taxes. We will now foreclose on your house for the property taxes and auction it off to get those property taxes, and the highest bidder will get that house. And they will start the bid at the exact amount that the property taxes are owed at. And if no one else bids, someone just got your house that you spent all your life paying off for maybe a few $1,000s. But remember I said, remember that I said, you lost your job, your unemployment ran out, everything's gone, you're in trouble, can't find a job, oh my God, what am I going to do? you can file bankruptcy for everything else in your life. If you happen to have a credit card or you start using one of those in the meantime to try to live off of because you couldn't find a job, you ran that up, now they're after you, you could easily bankrupt out of that. There's no court in the country that would deny you that because you don't have a job, unemployment ran out, case closed, you can easily bankrupt out of that. But you can't bankrupt out of those property taxes. But the city or county that's charging you property tax or charging you fees and stuff, they can bankrupt out of anything that they owe you, should they owe you anything, by the way. So isn't that just interesting how government works? Isn't that just great? It makes you feel good inside. It makes you feel like, yeah, this is the greatest country in the world, first world status, superpower of the world. We are better, superior to the Roman Empire. We are it. I don't want it now. I don't want to hear none of that doom, none of that. Nah. Watching my favorite TV show, the NFL, it's back on. They got an agreement signed. I can start watching TV, my football games again. Don't need to be bothered by that. Oh, you need to be bothered by it. And you're going to be bothered by it, whether you like it or not. A wise person would be paying attention to me right now, and probably a year or two ago as well, instead of doing the old, I don't want to listen right now, I don't believe it. So, again, gold and silver, gold and silver. And I want to show you something here. Here's 3 quarters. 1997, 1997, 2001. Listen to the sound of this very carefully. Now listen to the sound of this. You hear that difference? You may need to rewind this video to hear the difference. I don't know how good it's going to come out, but you will clearly hear a distinct sound. Now what's the difference? Oh, these are shinier. These are shinier quarters. Oh, is that the difference? Let's see, that's 1964. That one's 1964. And this one is 1961. Man, shiny as heck too, beautiful. But they're quarters. There's no difference. I mean, look. Aside from a little dirtiness. 1997, 1964. 1964 over here, 1997 here. Flip them around, they're the same. Same stamp, same everything, right? Except there's one difference. And I'm sure some of you already know where I'm going with this because I already told you what year these quarters were. And the reason I bought these quarters the other day is because I wanted to do this in a video for you. I don't need these quarters. I don't need these, but it'd make a good video, and I would like to have some old memorabilia of what money used to be. So anything 1964 or older, I think back into the 40s even, was, as far as silver coins goes, that would be quarters and dimes. This also is a 1964 dime. This is a 2006 dime. Again, same thing. You know what a dime looks like. There's nothing different except the year. And the year means quarters that are 1964 or earlier, up until starting, I think, in the 1940s. 90% silver is in that quarter. 90% silver is in that dime. 90% of this is silver, is what I'm saying. And 90% of this is silver. Do you have any idea what this 10 cents of money, this dime, is worth in today's dollars? This may hurt your feelings. This may upset you when I tell you this. This dime, go to eBay right now if you wish. You will see these, depending on the condition, some of them, anywhere from $2.50 to $3.50. So obviously you could safely say about $3, and that's true. You can find these for approximately $3 a piece. You walk into a coin dealer, it's the same thing. Somewhere between $2.50, $3, depending on the condition on some of them, whatever. For a freaking dime, I can just about, almost, because gas right here is $3.60, $3.55. I can almost get a full gallon of gas. One full gallon of gas, 95% of a gallon, or 90% of a gallon, or, not quite, whatever it equals. With one of these. A freaking dime, simply because it's 1964 or earlier. And obviously, the reason behind that is because it has silver in it. The silver in this dime gives it the value. Not this piece of metal like this one. That's just a piece of garbage metal that isn't money. It's a dime and it'll always be a dime. So if this was 1965 all the way to 2011, it's still worth 10 cents even in today's money. It was worth 10 cents in those dollars back then. It's worth it in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and 2000, 2010, 11. It's still worth 10 freaking cents in whatever time period's money you're in. And right now we're in 2011's money and everything's getting expensive. Yet this isn't getting any more worthy or worth more. It's still 10 cents. This, on the other hand, as prices rise and everything else rises, this same stupid dime, 1964, keeps going up in value. How can that be? Because it's silver. So anyways, do you know how much this is? I said $3. Now are you ready for this? I have 75 cents in my hand. 1, 2, 3. 75 cents of the silver quarters, 90% from 1964 earlier. 3 of them. Do you have any idea what I just paid a couple days ago for those quarters? $22.50 for 75 cents of quarters. Oh, are they collector's items? Are they some kind of... No. They're just created in the year 1964, 2 of them, and one of them was 1961. That's all. They're in quite good condition, you can see. So someone probably held on to them. And I asked them, we had a whole change thing full of them. And I said, is there any difference? Like, I see, looks like some of these are proofs. Does it matter? Not at all. We pay the same and we sell them the same. Pick the nicest ones if you want. I know I got some nice ones in there. So I picked out the 3 nicest, prettiest ones that I could find. And all of them had that shiny lust to them anyways, but these 2 were just really, really good condition. They were just real nice. So I paid $22.50 for 75 cents. So think about this, if you were born way back in those days, and every week you saved a quarter. Every week, 51 weeks in a year. And you did that for many, many, many years, up until 1964. You did it for 10 years. You would have a lot. You would have hundreds of these coins. Each of these coins is about $8. I paid $7.50. And again, eBay shows anywhere between 7 and 8 all day long. So let's just round off to 8 because as soon it's going to go up a little bit more. Clearly, silver's not done anywhere near being done rising. We know where it's going. And Lindsey Williams, of course, $75 to $100. So let's be fair here. Price of silver, is $40, and I had to pay, let's call it $8 to round this off. $8 for this. And if it doubles to 80, which is exactly where Lindsey Williams says silver will be going in the near future, $75 to $100 is where he said. So give me $80 for Christ's sake. We'll call it 80. That's double 40 of today. That means this single coin, this damn quarter, is going to be $16 for one of these. Not 8, not $7.50. It'll be $16 for a freaking quarter, simply because it was minted with silver in it. It's 1964 earlier. And even though I know this, and I've been knowing this, it hurts to hand over $22.50 for 3 of those. And when silver's $80 in the not so distant future, I could do another video and say, man, I just went out and bought another 3 coins. It now cost me $45. Remember X and X whatever a while ago? I did a video on 3 of these quarters. It was $22.50 and people were probably dropping their jaw. You kidding me? Now it's 45 bucks. Silver and gold is money. In this quarter, which if I was to stick in a vending machine or give to anybody right now off the street, if I walked up to anybody on the street right now with this 75 cents and said, listen, I need 10 bucks really bad. Would you be willing to trade me these 3 quarters? And I would hand them, I'd have them all laid out, all 3 of them, so that they can see the exact dates. I was like, look, I got a 64, 2 1961s. They're a little older. They're real beautiful. Look at them. They'd probably laugh at you, dude. I'm not giving you. I'm not gonna give you $10 for 3 quarters. I'm not gonna give you $5 for 3 quarters, dude. Come on. Oh, well, I appreciate that. Cause by the way, bozo, it's worth $22.50. Have a nice day. I should go around with my little secret pen, that little pen I told you about, little secret camera pen. I should actually go out during the day maybe and just ask people. I need 10 bucks, and I was just wondering, would you take these 3 quarters? They're the one's 1964, the other 2 are 61s, or 2 are 64, one's 61, and just see the kind of response I get out in the public. And then after they say no, I don't have 10 bucks, or I'll then say, well, if you did, would you if you did? Probably not. Sorry. All right. Well, I'm just messing with you. These are worth $22.50 right now. Huh? And then I'll go on and educate them as to why. Be a good educational video, actually. I think I may try to do something like that. So I just want to share that with you, end this video that way. And as all this crap happens and pensions are slashed and services are cut and prices for food and gas and everything we need skyrockets, along with that, you know gold and silver will be skyrocketing too. It already is. And then when people jump on that bandwagon really heavy duty and they get the wake-up call, there's massive delays of silver eagles and silver coins finally coming into play, where it's months of a wait time kind of thing happening. You don't want to be buying when that happens. You want to be sitting staring at your beautiful pile of silver. Even if it's a little handful of silver, it's fine, because it'll be worth a small fortune for some people, you know. So anyways, that's all I got for you, and we'll see how the news and the crap unfolds here. I do expect them to pass the deficit thing some way or another, one way or the other. And when it does happen, yeah, gold and silver will probably take a little hit. It's just nonsense, we all know. And again, it's temporary, as it always is when they push it down. And just sit back and keep stacking and laugh at the people playing the paper game when it does go down and everyone laughs. You can laugh too, because you're not in the paper game, and everyone who was just got cleaned out. You still have your physical sitting in your safe or wherever you have it, and then, oh, strangely enough, a short amount of time went by, it's already back up. So it's interesting to see the prices of gold and silver right now, since we're at option expiration at the end of the month, and that's normally when they pretty much cyclically sell off, and the options contract expire, so you see lots of sell-offs in the market of especially silver, but even in gold too sometimes. So I'm like, okay, today's the 25th. What's going on? Didn't really have a bad day for gold or silver for sure. So I'd hate to see after these people get out of the paper positions that they're in with their options expiring, and the beginning of August. I think gold and silver will, we're hovering around that 40 mark now. And again, if the deficit thing goes through, it'll push it down a little bit, I think. But August is going to come in. It's probably going to kick right back up and go past the 40 mark. We're going to be probably in the mid-40s here in the very, very near future. And again, it's just up from there. It's hard to call exactly, when it's going to be this specific price. No one really knows. I still feel 100% comfortable saying we're going back to 50 this year and beyond before the year's out. I mean, that's, to me, is like, there's no way that won't happen. So that's it. Have a nice day or night, and take care.